Big money. That's who's ready.
Big money. All right, who's ready for Hillary 2016? Everybody, you all look so excited.
Yeah.
Joey, even you, especially you, the resident like hardcore Democratic hack, dude.
I'm pretty hardcore over here. I'm pretty.
Well, I know your love for Hillary Clinton, but I'm just, I don't see the excitement on your face right now.
Oh no, you're about to see it. You're about to see a lot of excitement.
Up, man.
All right, I'm getting fired up. I just need you to insult her a little bit first, and then I'm gonna be there.
Does she have a soul?
Yeah, well,
are her mental capacities capable at this moment after multiple strikes?
No, and here's how I've started looking at politicians. I started looking at them like there's a politician, and then there used to be a human inside. And some of them still have human somewhere deep inside. And like Obama, when he vetoed the Keystone XL, you're like, oh, there's still a human in there. Because that was politically probably not the most expedient thing for you to do. But it was a little human somewhere buried deep inside that politician that made you veto that Keystone XL bill. Even though the motherfucker won't... Okay, what is that? Even though he won't, deny approval for the,
Joey was hanging out on the Hillary Clinton bus.
Yes.
Were you?
Ready for Hillary.
The ready for Hillary.
Oh, man, is that where you got that scarf?
Was that the Georgia State Capitol?
Joey, come on, man.
There's the ready for Bernie,
Bernie Sanders all the way. That's what I'm saying. No. Let me explain why Bernie Sanders. I'm gonna give up making you argue for Hillary. I'm gonna get worked up about Bernie right now.
Who is Bernie Sanders for people that don't know?
Senator from Vermont, man. Calm down. Independent senator. What?
But he caucused with the
Joey
Democrats.
didn't know we were recording.
Are we?
Yeah, man. I told.
Oh, okay.
Oh, Jesus. Is that why you're just sitting there, man?
Yeah. Like I was just like, okay, when are you gonna stop talking?
You want me to start over or what?
No, let's go.
So I'm feeling good about this.
Okay.
Oh yeah, no. Like so, here's how I see.
Okay, so now we know how unenthused Joey is when he doesn't know we're recording.
Here's how I see it.
We're not on air.
No, let me go because you lost your chance. Bernie Sanders, 2016. This is why. I'll give you a chance. Don't worry. This is why Bernie Sanders 2016. Because this is the first time in our lives when the third party candidate is really viable, and we know this two party it's got Bridgemont.
I think
the two party system's a problem when you're a part of it. So right?
but Bernie Sanders as a candidate,
let's not even talk about. Let's just talk about.
He would not run as an independent. He'd run as Democrat.
Yeah, he's not.
But I think he knows he's not going to win as a Democrat. Hillary's got the Democratic nomination.
He's not going to run third.
And when he loses that, what do you think he's going to do? Drop out? No, I don't think. Come on.
I think that would be dangerous.
If it wasn't for Hillary, I would agree with you. But Hillary has got the nomination. Hillary's pretty much got the presidency, but I'm going Bernie Sanders.
That's what they said in 2008.
Because this is the best chance. This is the best chance a third party has. I mean, what was the last best chance? Was it like Ross Perot or something?
Ralph Nader or something?
But look, here's the difference.
Because
we were in a totally different time. This is the difference. Now America is so disenchanted with our government. Both parties we're totally disenchanted with the two-party system. Our economy's not looking good. Like shit's just.
When you say our economy's not looking good, what exactly?
That means all right. It's not if you're not in the top 1 or 10% of the population. The last couple of years you haven't been profiting too much. I mean,
but you can get a job. But you can get a job if you want one. If you want a job, you can get one. You can have.
I don't know if that's sustainable. I don't know
your
if
job may not give you a living wage.
Doubt.
Yeah,
I don't know. Is that true though? I mean, last I heard, there was still, people looking for work for every open job.
I got 2 jobs, like
I know a lot of people with 2 jobs, and then they're still struggling, dude. That's part of the problem.
I'm just saying,
got a lot of working poor on top of, not enough jobs.
I don't know. Maybe my resume looks really good.
And also, think about it. People always want to say, "Oh, I got 2 jobs," so there's not a problem with not enough jobs. I mean, we live around Atlanta, a city of 12 million people. I mean, a lot of Americans don't. Think about like bumfuck West Virginia, all kinds of places, dude. Like, there's a lot of people.
Of course, in rural areas, there's less economic opportunities.
Think about where you live. You have so many opportunities. Like, I mean, there aren't that many huge cities like that, but like you live around. So I mean, just using anecdotes as economics. Come on, man. Wake up. I know it's early.
The state of Georgia's population is 10 million. Just go ahead, guys. Sorry.
All right.
Is it?
Are you done? Are you done?
Whatever.
All right. So here's the deal. Bernie Sanders sells himself as a humanist. yet he favors restricting immigrants from coming to America. He says he's compassionate, yet he supports restricting trade with poor countries. He says he's an independent,
This is how Joey puts
yet
it,
he
'cause I look
votes
at all
with
these little
Democrats
claims.
94% of the time. This guy is a shill. He's a sham. He's not realistic
He
at
votes
all.
with
He's
the
not
Democrats.
academic.
But what
He's
does
a
that mean?
total
Because
reactionary.
Democrats don't always vote with
The
Democrats.
6% of the time that he's voting against Democrats, it's on issues that are academic, where he's not
No, that's what
voting
you
in a
say
responsible
to not
way.
say anything.
He's not
Explain,
voting
like,
responsible.
You can't like. Let's talk about some of like your free trade. No, we shouldn't get into free trade
that's
right
the
now.
thing,
We've
but
talked
no,
about free
he's-
trade. That's a whole
I know,
other
but
argument.
he's
You want to bring it
against-
into that. You want to turn it into a free trade.
No,
Let's stay
don't.
focused.
I'm not
Joey.
trying to turn it in.
Talk to
I'm
you
just
about
saying,
this.
when it comes to academic things, when it comes to the
What's
most
the
basic
academic things? Come on.
agency, everything from foreign policy to economics
No,
101.
man, get specific.
When you
dude.
have, when you
like
have
when you were talking about
here's the
India.
thing.
One thing. Here's one thing
Specific.
specific Joey called out was his not wanting to cooperate with India's nuclear power, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, but
yeah.
first off, like that's crazy. That was set a fucked up precedent. As fucked up as the whole non-proliferation treaty is right now, and India's objection to it, like the reality is, we got to get rid of nuclear weapons. Like that's one of the biggest problems. I mean, with all the, we'll talk about it later, but with all the other
Does
things
anyone
we
else
have that
agree
can
with Scott
destabilize
on that?
society.
I do not agree with that. We
I
need to
don't.
get rid
so
of
I
it.
we'll
don't
just
agree.
fucking.
All right,
I think
you got
India is
20,000 nuclear
legitimately
weapons.
a nuclear
All right.
power.
Go ahead, Scott.
And Bernie Sanders is on his
That's
own
cool.
on that
We'll talk
too.
about it later. Bernie Sanders is no, he's not. He voted with Democrats against Democrats too.
This
I
is,
know.
this is the thing, though, on all these points going around. First of all, for the rest of the show, I will refer to Hillary Clinton as Shillery Clinton because that's how I've done it for many, many years. Because she literally is the ultimate version of a paid shill for anything and everything.
Oh,
It's not Hillary Clinton; it's Shillery Clinton.
oh my God.
But that point aside, my thing about Sanders, that he's fine. He's not perfect, but he's fine, especially for a sitting United States Senator. You're not going to have anybody who's perfect. His voting record's certainly better than the other Democratic candidates who may or may not get in the race. That said, part of my concern is I just feel like he's also old. I mean, no offense, but he's, I believe, 76 years old.
He's, I think, 73, 74.
Yeah.
Right? He would be 78 by the time his first term
Yeah, he
ended.
would be-
82 by
yeah.
the time his second term ended.
And
if he
that,
was
and the
reelected.
thing is about that is that we rarely, if ever, elect presidents to their first term that old, and that's automatically going to be a drawback. It didn't help McCain. It hasn't helped anybody else really. The other thing is too.
Biologically, your brain shrinks as you get older.
Well, I mean, it's not to discriminate, but it just is. It is. Do you really want to
is
put
so
somebody in
morbid.
charge of the country that's that old? That's one of my.
How old is Hillary?
She's 60 something. Like,
That is
68.
She's
nine,
like
yeah,
almost
yeah.
70, so
Yeah.
it's
Well,
the
I don't
same
support her either.
logic would.
I don't support her
Yeah.
either.
Yeah, I mean,
No, it's
some
affected-
people don't get Alzheimer's. Some people get it when they're 70. You know.
Yeah.
They have really good health care, trust
The
me.
thing,
Yeah.
the thing
Yeah.
is, the thing is for me is that I feel like the third party thing. He's not going to run third party because number one, he's always never been that bold. I mean, he didn't like endorse Ralph Nader even when the Vermont Progressive Party did in 2000. Just giving you back history about Vermont and Vermont politics before he was even in the Senate. The thing is too is that I just feel like the Democrats will be better served looking if you're progressive to try to get somebody like Brian Schweitzer in the race that's younger and has a larger appeal.
But I mean, let's be realistic. Hillary's
How do
gonna
you
be the
spell
nominee.
Brian
I
Schweitzer?
mean, but here's
That's what I'm saying.
if we're gonna be.
That's one of the reasons I like Bernie, and
DITR.
sometimes he is pragmatic over idealism, and a lot of times people give him flack for that. But like how he didn't really vote against Israel on anything until recently, when he wanted to start thinking about presidency and starts getting activists running on him with signs screaming at like committee hearings and shit, and like that happens to Elizabeth Warren and shit. And so now they're starting to Sanders was the first to refuse to go see Bibi speak the other day.
The thing
He was the first
At
senator to
this point in the
refuse.
race, on either side, Republican or Democrat, Hillary Clinton is the only candidate that I see, potential candidate, that I see that is realistic. Elizabeth Warren is not running, and even if she were, she doesn't have foreign
not
policy.
She's not running. Let's just not talk about it.
Not running. Right.
Joe
All right,
Biden
let's
is
talk
not running.
about-
Polls
Joe Biden
show,
is running.
Here's
Polls
just
show
the-
that both of them would get crushed if they did run.
That's
Polls
the
show
thought.
Bernie Sanders will get crushed if he runs.
doesn't mean they're not
I
gonna
think
run.
right
No,
now,
wait, wait.
emotionally, Democrats want to fight. Like emotionally, I want to see
Two-
Hillary Clinton get in there and kick people's teeth in and get in a huge beast mode fight. But logically, the best thing for liberals to keep the White House is for Hillary Clinton to run largely unopposed. And I think
That is never a good idea.
Democrats are having
That's
that-
never a good idea.
I got 3 points. 3 points here. All right. number one, running unopposed does not help another candidate. It didn't help Al Gore. It rarely
I completely
helps
disagree.
If you have an open seat and it's not an incumbent, it does not help not have a primary. It doesn't test the candidate. It doesn't get the research out there. It doesn't get them used to having to debate and the other campaign minutia.
Point 2.
Second point. Third-party stuff. He's not going to run third-party. The other reason is because it takes a ton of infrastructure and money, and it's already 2015.
Steen, let me challenge you on that real quick. Sanders, he's not going to run third-party, but we already know he's not going to get the Democrat nomination. We already know who's going to get that.
He's running.
So does he. You think he doesn't?
Campaign like Dennis Kucinich. Dennis Kucinich did it twice.
But don't you think that'd be better served?
2008.
I mean, even in the larger scheme, to start challenging the two-party domination, if you would do third-party, at least even if it's hopeless.
This is what
He knows enough. I mean,
if I'm Bernie Sanders and I'm running for president, I enter the Democratic primaries. I go through the debate process and I go through Iowa and New Hampshire. Barring a miracle, assuming I don't win either one of those votes, I drop out and immediately declare my third-party candidacy.
there you go. That's what I'm hoping he does. That's what.
Then you use the media attention from the Democratic campaign to transition you into a regular election. But I'm not saying it's going to
And
happen.
everyone
Would that not split the ticket and essentially guarantee a Republican victory?
That's what I was about to say.
Yeah.
Would you rather Hillary Clinton be
Well,
president
Scott Walker's
over
gonna be
Jeb
president.
Bush?
Well, look.
Sorry,
All right.
Scott
Well, here.
Walker.
Let me tell you why. I mean, I think.
Or does that not matter?
No, I'm going to tell you the big reasons. I mean, you guys know one of my main concerns is fucking climate change because no one gives a shit about it because it's like, oh, you know, we don't have to do that for future generations. But so let's talk about Hillary Clinton on climate change. First off, she said in 2010 that she supported the Keystone XL pipeline. She would approve it. Boom. So that would have been approved.
Third thing too about the polling. Ignore the polling right now because otherwise we'd have President Giuliani.
Right.
We all know that what President Giuliani would do right now.
Right.
Obama doesn't love America.
I do think Hillary Clinton's lead is substantially different than Giuliani's.
All right, and let's talk about the future right now because they're not here to say anything. The Global Shale Gas Initiative. Joe, you know about the Global Shale Gas Initiative, right?
No.
Yeah, man, that's the fucking Hillary Clinton, and you know she's helping push natural gas. She calls it, you know, along with the Obama administration line, that it's the cleanest burning fossil fuel. Now they refined it because it is the cleanest burning fossil fuel. But you know, if you take into account the wells you got to take to extract it and the methane leaks that always result from it, then it's just as bad as coal.
So
but
we
they
should
don't
really
want to
just
talk
be
about
doing
that.
more coal, is
So
what you're
going
saying.
around the world, she's basically going around the world exporting. Yeah, because that's the bullshit answer I always hear from people. Like, oh, if we don't want to frack, then the only alternative is coal. Motherfucker, it's the 21st century. We had solar power like 100 years ago, dude, but people gave it up because oil got so cheap. Like, we have solar power. They're a viable alternative. Rwanda built a giant Africa-shaped solar power field, dude. Like, this is fucking, yeah, no, it was pretty wild. Check it out, dude. but fucking, like, it's huge, and it supplies 6% of their energy. That's fucking Rwanda, dude. Like, so this is...
We get like
can
6%
start-
of our energy from solar power too.
Great.
I mean,
But the reality is we have to start, if we're going to have a real leader, we have to start, especially in the presidency, we have to start pushing towards renewable energy and transitioning as fast as we can because
But
the
you
longer
don't
we wait...
think Hillary Clinton supports renewable energy?
Remember,
She's going around shilling for natural gas because they call that a bridge fuel and all that and pretend it's a bridge fuel. It's just as bad as coal. It's lies. It's bullshit.
Just as bad. You have to.
Here's
just
the-
No,
as
hold on.
bad.
Okay, you guys talk about something else for a minute. I'm going to pull up the fucking...
If you look at everyone on the Republican side, they're all saying that they don't believe in global warming,
Right.
that they're total skeptics, they don't believe in science.
but lesser of two
At
evils
least-
argument,
at
I get
least-
that.
Well, but that's the thing. Hillary Clinton says, hey, global warming exists and we need to do something about it.
But
and we
she's
need
not going to
invest
do
in alternative
enough.
energy.
She's not going to do enough to salvage
Nobody,
the future of
even if
humanity.
Bernie Sanders got elected,
At least Bernie
He wouldn't.
Sanders would be a
Even if-
protest presidency.
even
It
if
would
he got
say,
elected,
this is
he
a guy.
wouldn't. Nobody.
who would. Obviously, you can't save the world. It's not Superman. It's like, oh, elected presidency, busts off his shirt. All of a sudden, he goes fucking whooping Republicans' asses and shit, dude. Fucking beating back carbon emissions, dude. It's
the
no.
thing that me and Scott would agree about is that I think at this point the climate's already deemed and it doesn't really matter if it's Hillary or anybody else. I mean, first of all, the presidency is not going to fix that, given that at least 60% of the global emissions come from countries like China and India that we don't even control. We have some influence, but not really any influence over that. So even if the country shut down tomorrow and China and India continued as normal, we'd still be screwed. I mean, we need to create a climate fund and try to deal with the effects of it because we can't stop it anymore. If we wanted to stop it, we should have done it.
And that's the conversation that people need to move
Mike
forward.
check. Mike check.
I thought you were going to go away for 2
Mike
minutes.
check. July 24th, 2014. Because I already found it. Because I know what I'm looking for. ScienceDaily.com, dude. This is where you get the best science news. I look at this every day, so I know what's up. I know what's up with reality. This is what you got to do. Look, July 21st, 2014. Both shale and gas and conventional natural gas have larger greenhouse gas footprint than do coal or oil, especially for the primary uses of residential and commercial heating. Boom. Like,
Thank you for that, Scott.
It just feels
published in
green.
Energy Science
It
and
feels
Engineering.
greener when I'm on that martyr bus.
First of all, I don't have this hopeless view on global warming the way that Steen does. I think
We're gonna talk about that,
I mean, it's
though.
already a problem, but the idea that we should just do nothing about global warming
That's
at
not.
this point
That's
to
not the
prevent-
argument.
That's not what I said.
He's saying Bernie
what I thought you
Sanders.
were saying.
No, he's basically saying
because you
no.
said there's not a difference
Quiet,
between
Joey,
if we had
let me tell
Hillary
you.
Clinton
Let me explain
versus-
to you, since you
versus Scott
want to,
Walker.
because dude, you always want to make these irrational, claims about what we're saying. But no, what we're saying is basically the difference between a Republican and a Democrat isn't enough to make enough of a difference. It's worth throwing that Hail Mary to a third party, to Bernie Sanders, saying this can help a little bit at least. It can at least be symbolic, dude. And
So-
if you know how the world works, 80% of it's symbolic, man.
Here's the thing. I don't think Hillary Clinton will do as good of a job as president as Barack Obama has done. It'd be great if she did. But having said that,
God,
I
is
still,
that the argument?
I still, no, that's not, I don't have this total pessimism towards her either. I mean, the idea that she's not going to do anything positive towards global warming, let alone the other issues that are very important at this point, such as balancing the budget, putting more money into science and infrastructure, immigration reform. I think that when you
And
look at the
what does
core
that matter,
issues
you
that the
know?
next president needs to get right,
In
Hillary
20 years,
Clinton
what does that
is
matter
right
if we
on
didn't
those
cut our
issues.
carbon emissions enough?
She's in support of cutting carbon
Oh
emissions.
no, of course everybody
So those are
is,
things
dude.
that I
In
don't really
theory, but guess
understand.
what? What's her little her
What
little
has the Democratic Party done? We've
and her
built
little
so many
foundation with Bill,
pipelines.
going around helping third world countries. They get so much money. They get millions of dollars from Exxon, Chevron. Like they're taking in that oil money in their
Does
nonprofit.
nobody see the
And what?
problem with the
I'm sure they get
foreign
nothing in
nations?
return. Because I mean, when I give someone $2 million, I'm just like, whatever, bro.
No, I see so much progress being made. The price of solar panels has dropped so much.
I'm sorry,
I
I
was
have to
looking at
interrupt
the
here.
Bloomberg. How come every time I talk, I'm getting interrupted?
I know Joey sees
an ass.
No,
progress.
because
Democrat.
Bloomberg Energy is saying that the price of solar is going to be cut by more than half in just the next 10 years. If you look at the amount that of
market's
gasoline
got-
that
the
cars
market's
are
got the
using, it's gone
solutions,
down
don't
because of
worry.
Obama administration regulations. The EPA is now going to be cutting down on carbon dioxide.
And guess what? Well,
we're going to be bringing down CO2 levels by 2025. How much? Like 10, 20%? I mean, we're making a lot of progress here.
That's gonna be too late by
We're-
2025.
yeah.
And Hillary Clinton would be the candidate that would build
And it
on that
brings you
progress and
down.
ensure
Like
that progress.
that means we'll peak.
We all know you're full
We'll
of
peak
shit,
in another
Joey.
10 years.
I'm gonna give you
Oh
some
my God.
facts. You guys threw China under the bus. China doesn't deserve to be thrown under the bus completely. They are filthy
we
as
didn't even talk
hell.
about China, did we?
No, you did mention you're like, oh, China's putting out all this energy. Like you said, 60% of their,
Right.
they're
They keep
using
burning
their
coal-fired
fuels, burning
power
some-
plants.
Yeah,
never
but
said that.
I also want to say
But-
China's capacity. I'm quoting from a German article here. China's capacity for renewable energies is greater than that of the United States, Germany, India, and Spain combined. They get about a third of their energy from renewable sources. We are light years behind China, and if we want to throw them under the bus for using so much coal, we also need to throw under our own politicians and economic system or ourselves, because we're not demanding solar energy like we should from our providers or wind energy like we should. We're doing horribly compared to China.
But
That's
that's
because we don't have that pollution we're choking. We don't have to wear gas masks, dude. So.
They tell about, if you ever see articles, the pollution in China is so bad you can't breathe in some of these cities. I mean, it's insane.
Yeah, go to Shanghai,
No,
man.
I completely agree. The way they do.
So I mean, it's a lot more immediate
Yeah.
for them. That's one of the problems. That's one of the
I think
reasons.
all of that goes back to overpopulation. I think all the
Man, we shouldn't get into this. We're going into the next topic, man. We're going right into the next
Yeah,
topic.
Yeah, I said
Here we go. The Obama administration reducing CO2 levels by 26 to 28% by 2025. I mean, that's
Obama's plan. That's like,
But this is the thing.
provided
In order to make sure that
Congress-
happens, and in order to make sure that we push
We
on
need to
that and we
vote
go further,
Democrat.
and that we have a leader of the free world who actually believes global warming exists, having Hillary Clinton as president is much better than the Republican alternative. And going for a third party Hail Mary pass with Bernie Sanders in particular,
I think it's a Hail Mary
is
pass to
just
say, here's someone who's
not a
taken
good
millions
idea.
of dollars from from Exxon, the one who's funded all this climate change bullshit, all this climate change denial skepticism for the last 10, 20 years. A lot of that money's been coming from Exxon.
Not
her
to mention money coming from the Saudis.
her nonprofit gets millions of dollars from them. And I mean, and she's the Global Shale Gas Initiative. I mean, she's not honest about natural gas. How does she not know this? I know this. ScienceDaily.com. Do I need to? What's Hillary's phone number, Joe? I gotta call her and let her know about this because apparently her experts aren't getting her the information about the greenhouse gas footprint of these different energy sources.
Scott, when you're making,
she's using it as politics to fight Russian oil in Europe and stuff. But it's and then she pretends that it's got something to do with carbon emissions. It doesn't. Like,
Scott,
she just quit saying that. She just say it's purely political. It's all to say fuck you to Russia.
When Hillary Clinton is getting paid over $200,000 for a speech, every word she says is bought.
Oh, I thought you were going to stand up for me. Well,
Every word is bought and
Look,
paid for.
You mean for Hillary Clinton? Man, maybe
you're criticizing the Clintons for the fact that they're willing to accept money from oil companies in order to do really good things with that money in the third world. I don't think that's a fair
They're
argument.
really doing it.
But
They are doing really good things.
Here's one of the things I want to say about the Clintons. Yeah, they're doing really good things on that local scale. If you
That's
got your
like-
little narrow, if you got your blinders on and you're not looking at the future.
That's like saying a billionaire
Look.
who gives away 1% of their wealth is doing good things.
So let's talk about Bill Gates. Let's talk about Bill Gates and the Clintons
so
and their little plan to,
meaningless.
deal with poverty and all this, and not deal with climate change.
What I would say about I'm not gonna her husband has really. The Clinton Global Initiative, the things that are being done out of that program are having drastic impacts in China, all the rest of Asia, Africa, Western Europe.
I'm not seeing it. Maybe
If you're a farmer and you're given a cell phone and you live in rural Africa, a cell phone allows you to see what's the price of goods at market. So therefore, I won't waste my time getting all these goods to the market, and it's a low prices that when I can hold my grain for another week, and when the price goes up, and I won't have to charge people. I won't be charged for transportation getting my goods to market when the price is low. Something as simple as a cell phone.
I saw that little YouTube clip too that you shared from the Clinton Global.
Well,
Initiative,
actually, I mean, I heard Bill Clinton explain it himself. Actually,
Yes. I'm not as connected to the plutocrats, obviously. Obviously, I just don't know what great things they're doing.
Okay. First and foremost, when
Elon Musk is gonna get us to Mars, so fuck this planet.
That's such a great philanthropic interest. The Clinton Global Initiative. I mean, Hillary Clinton aside, what's being done, the work that's being done is good. You know, people in the third world are getting greater access to technology, greater access to water, greater access to transportation, and you know they're teaching people how to. Use renewable resources so that they don't have such a greater carbon footprint. So all of these things are being done in theory, but overall, you look at economically, I don't think the same thing that, you know, the sustainable resources that you apply to a farmer in Tanzania, it doesn't work the same way as in the United States of America. So I think that, you know, saying that they're doing all this good work doesn't transcend politically when we're talking about Hillary Clinton, because what can be done in the United States that the Clinton Global Initiative is doing to have a serious impact on the American economy?
I mean, the U.S. gives a lot of foreign aid. The U.S. does a lot of good, but we also, you know, could do a lot more, spend a lot less on bombs. But I mean, you know, one of the big problems with, you know, wanting to deal with poverty is, and just the rising tide lifts all boats. Like, well, see, now we're getting into the next goddamn topic, man. This is how I was going to go starting attacking.
Okay, but no, but
So if we want to
Hillary
talk about
Clinton.
2016, we need to talk about something specific with Hillary Clinton's policy proposal or something specific with Bernie Sanders.
You don't have anything specific anything for Hillary Clinton because she's not running
really doesn't have
officially.
any-
Hold
So
on.
there's no.
You just interrupted me because I had something specific to say, and that is that Bernie Sanders does concern me for being a little bit too much of a red meat liberal. For example, he voted for Obamacare, but then he sponsored also this kind of Medicare for all bill. And, you know, single payer, that's fine, but let's be realistic. That's just not going to happen in the United States anytime soon.
It's a bad idea.
But I think you guys also, like, I think
it's a
you're
bad
underestimating.
I think it's a bad
I think
idea.
you're underestimating how strategic he thinks. He's a senator now. He knows that. I think he's going to act differently and, like, appropriate when he becomes president. He's been in it so long. It's not like he just jumped in.
But-
like, he's been doing this for a while. And
Yeah, he's a brilliant.
what he can do in the set, and, like, you know, that he he knows the politics and he's willing to be pragmatic about it, but he's still got he still holds on to his ideals.
What about
that's
realistic
one of the reasons,
policy? What realistic does Bernie Sanders support? I happen to think that all payer rate setting is a good idea, and I'm not sure if you guys know what that is, but that means that Medicaid, Medicare, Blue Cross Blue Shield, whoever it is, they pay the same reimbursement for the same service. That way you cut out all these crazy negotiations and price differentials.
That sounds about as difficult. It sounds about as difficult as getting single payer pushed through. So it sounds pretty much as unrealistic as what you were just saying. Bernie Sanders is.
Why not do something that's good policy and more? I think it's more realistic because then you preserve Medicaid, you preserve Medicare.
Why not just ignore healthcare until it implodes
companies.
because we're too dumb to be able to handle the politics of it in America. American people can't
ignore it until it explodes.
That's another thing. Hillary Clinton supports
the
Affordable Care Act. All the Republicans are against it. They say they want to repeal it.
What's the Affordable Care Act?
I mean, I still don't have
I'm not
insurance.
willing to go for a Hail Mary pass just as, you know, for this kind of stuff and then see Obamacare go away.
Single payer now. That's all I have to say. But and the thing about Sanders is he is a good campaigner. There's literally something called the Sanders or the Vermont way, the way that he campaigns in Vermont to consistently win the Burlington mayor's race, the House of Reps race, and then the Senate race. The door-to-door campaigning, the reliance on not really spending money on TV advertising, but rather being in the community, having lots of town halls, things like that, mailers, all that kind of thing. His campaign strategies are something to look into and learn from. So he does know what he's doing as a campaigner. I don't doubt that at all.
Well, single payer would be absolutely inferior to just reforming and improving Obamacare.
No.
Of course, anything with Obama's name in it.
I actually want to tell you guys why I like Bernie Sanders. Are you ready for this?
Nah.
All right.
I don't know.
I like Bernie Sanders for the same reason I like Ron Paul. And I want to see Bernie Sanders run for the same reason that I used to enjoy seeing Ron Paul running.
Kind of the same thing here, except now.
Hold on. I'm not done. Because he represents views that normally are not talked about, that do not represent the two mainstream parties. He reminds people what a socialist actually is. So yes, I want to see that. I want to see Bernie Sanders run. I want to at least see somebody.
I think he reminds people what a Democrat is.
But the thing is that I would not
a Democrat anymore.
I would not want to see Ron Paul actually win the White House. And similarly, I wouldn't actually want to see Bernie Sanders win the White House. His crazy views may be okay for a junior senator
Ron Paul's
from Vermont,
actually
but
crazy. You're trying to put Ron Paul and Bernie Sanders on par with that little smug grin, you bastard. We don't got videos, no one can see that with your scarf. Man, no, but
it's funny that you bring out Ron Paul because this is the way
his economics is complete. I read his End the Fed book and I was like, this is the most stupid shit ever.
That's how I feel when I read Bernie Sanders.
How?
Paul Krugman
Real
would
quick,
laugh
let's get
in
into
the face
it.
of this man.
Paul Krugman's also got a lot of. Let's talk about the substance here.
I was going to say though about Sanders and Paul. It's funny that you bring that up because I almost view Bernie Sanders kind of like Rand Paul in the sense of if Ron Paul is like the real libertarian, Rand is like a more palatable version of that. So Sanders he's more like a palatable version of a socialist. It's funny he has a Eugene. He has a
Rand is kind of like the dumb version of Ron Paul.
He has a keychain, Eugene Debs keychain. I believe it's a keychain. And, you know, it's funny he calls himself a socialist, but, you know, somebody like Debs, who's probably the most famous and most historical American socialist politician and activist, their views, Debs was still to the left of Sanders. I'm saying it's kind of the same thing. I mean, yes, Sanders is a socialist, but in my political dictamony, he's not a socialist in some way that Ron Paul is a libertarian and Rand.
Yeah, for real. I see Bernie Sanders like a Democrat should be. That's how I think he would run. Even I think in his mind, like idealistically, he'd be a socialist, but he knows enough about the world that he's not just going to be president and then boom, socialist utopia.
I would say
he knows that's never going to happen.
He's far to the left.
I think he's far to the left.
Sanders is not to the left of FDR, and he's not to the left of.
He's definitely
considering previous Democratic nominees.
I mean, how would he be viewed? How do you think he'd be viewed in Europe, Steen?
In Europe, he would be a moderate. I mean, he'd be like part of the British Labour Party, probably.
I agree with that.
I mean, this is a guy that just last week said that the United States Federal Reserve should bail out Greece.
But
I mean, come on. This is the kind of guy that every time he
But
gets to question the Federal Reserve Chairman, he's always asking crazy questions that show that he doesn't know what he's talking about.
Really? Like
whenever he's going into foreign policy, it's like clear that he doesn't understand how the Pentagon works. Anything.
In America,
Paul Krugman would laugh in this guy's face because he doesn't even support basic things like free trade.
Okay, I doubt Bernie Sanders said the Fed should unilaterally bail out Greece. Is that what he said?
Sort of,
the Fed should go in there and
yeah, basically that's what he said. You can't make this
probably
stuff
could,
up.
but
is there?
Oh yeah, I don't think they should though.
Simple question. Is there any politician in America today that anybody in this room unequivocally agrees with? I mean, you don't have any different...
Cynthia McKinney.
Exactly. That